Hello everyone, this is Cookies, and it looks like we had turn 28 roll while I was out running some errands, so let's go ahead and take a look at it now. Alright, we've got a fair number of battles. The war between Agartha and Lana is still very hot. It does look like Agartha's counterattacking more, which is good to see. But I still think we saw more attacks from Atlantis. Alright, so first up, Sleepy Wolds. Got a little point buffing, taking out some trolls. Alright, they get the job done. Lose 4 swordsmen, 1 royal guard. What's that? That's 60 gold. Not too bad. In Abukti, we've got Agartha attacking Atlantis. More little point buffing stacks. And misses the Cave Knight. Okay, so 1 successful raid for Agartha. Tianchi attacking Atlantis. Oh, right, they had a territory swap arrangement. So Tianchi taking their allotted payment for not declaring war on Atlantis. At least for now. Alright. Then Atlantis attacking Lowmark. The Centaurs. $16 prod on this guy. Any new blessed stuffs? No, still hard skin. I keep forgetting virtually every pretender was awake in this game. Tala didn't, and they're dead now, so the only one left who could have any sneaky part of a bless is Pyrene. So, alright. Wait, that was here. It loses 10 of the sacreds. They just don't have enough protection to keep up with the Ice Guard. They do have a cool Bone Glaive, which adds weakness and is a death weapon. But they also ran ahead and got chewed up by arrows. Alright, man attacking Agartha, trying to get back his land. Alright, little gifts from heaven. Atlantis attacking Agartha. Not finding anything. Then we've got 3 raids from Agartha. Yep, another little point buff raid, but we've also got a little stack here from Atlantis, and they've got magic weapons. The Agarthan point buffing has mostly been body ethereal, which isn't going to help here. As a reminder, the bless is Undying +8. Yeah, these Ice Guard just seem to outclass everything Agartha has to offer, at least so far. So this raid is defeated, only kills 2 Ice Guard. In Frosted Peaks, we have the main Agarthan army. All they find is a priest. Alright, there you go. You can kind of see the breakdown again. Attacking Pyrene, we've got Agartha. Pyrene's not going to catch a break. Agartha's invading everyone around them. Trying to make up for the fact that Atlantis is kind of outclassing their armies right now. So, but keeping up some income from doing it. So they move on to the Pyrene Cap. Atlantis attacking Urstrith. So we've got a little bit smaller group. Oh, but there's no magic leadership here, so the blind fighters are routing. Cave Trakes or Cave Knights are going to give it a go. I think their biggest hope is killing the commander, which they managed to do. Nice. So we get a success from the Cave Knights. Unfortunately, they're not quite fast enough to run down these Atlanteans. Combat speed 7 versus 7. So every time they pause, they fall super far behind. Alright, but they do defend here, and they take pretty light casualties doing it. Calum also attacks Pyrene in Sleepy Mountains. So we've got a Raven Guard raid, just going after some Ichthids. Alright. Then Atlantis going into the Junal Forest. A pretty strong contingent. I think these Unsleepings have a little less protection, so maybe Agartha can try to work their way through them. Not to be. What's that here? So it clears out all that PD. In Flemistan, we've got an Agarthan raid. Some more Cave Knights. This should succeed. Then Tianchi attacking some independents. The Eternal Knights. Ooh, they're going after the throne though. Actually, I kind of want to watch that again. Where's that Glen of Justice? Killing Eternal Knights, killing the vampires in the Glen of Justice. This Flambeau's going ham. The rest of this province isn't honestly that bad. As a reminder, the Bless here is Hardskin and Unaging. But primarily it's the Flambeau's 5 experience stars, tons of stats. Ooh, big drain life. Big Shadow Blast. Alright, and they clear the throne. So, loses half of them, but, I mean, clearing that many vampires is pretty nice. In Belagor, we've got Marignon. Clearing out the Ronin. A little bit of point buffing. Loses 2. Agartha attacking Peck Woods. Oh, we've got a couple of Sacreds in this group. a lot more point buffing. Going up against Bakemono. Ooh, Earthmeld. Alright, defeats the Bakemono. Where was that? That was here. Then we've got, I think, was that 5 raids by Atlantis? So first up in Iron Peaks. I'm not sure if we're going to get a big battle this turn. I thought we'd get it with Agartha, but they didn't find an enemy army. In Bountiful Land. Just some PD. In Gelgad. Very budget. In Work Enum. Or if you want to pronounce it a certain way, Workenum. Okay. And the Hole. So finishing off this Agarthan Cave. Alright. Loses 1 ice guard there. In Gold Mountains, we've got Tianchi. Pinging a throne. Thought he pinged it last turn. Panicrator's Legacy. We've got Calum attacking man. Alright, this is the, I think, the main Calum stack without the Pretender, though. But there's not much to run into. Then we've got some independent attacks, so Behemoth's Rest. Ooh, Trog attack. They killed 3, actually, in Abakti, which we just saw up here. So, independent attack against Agartha. We got a Barb attack. And I think because of this crippled guy, the Barbs are going to own this province. So even one of the few Agarthan wins that did occur is undone by independence. As they pretty much wreck that party. In Kibia, we got some independents attacking man. Barbarians kicking him while he is down. Oh, that dealt with the problem, though. And then in Cassian Forest. Ooh, Bloodhenge Druids. That's a nasty event. Does look like a pretty strong defense here. I wonder if this is the Adventurer event. This one's got regen. gnarly. Alright. So, a little bit of attrition. Loses a few Sacreds and a few Barb Heavy Horse, but takes care of this independent attack. And let's go ahead and take a look at the map. So, here's our cave system. Atlantis finished taking this system from Agartha. Otherwise, I don't think there's a lot of action down in here. Yeah, not this turn at least. Overland, though. Let's go ahead and look at Agartha and Atlantis. More and more of Agartha is looking like Atlantis. We've got a lot of blue flags here. Agartha, let's see, 2 of his forts are now under siege. But he's lifted the siege on this. The Atlantean army backed off. This army can't come over to help these forts down because it's busy sieging Pyrene. I don't know what happened between these players, but it seems a little salty. And yeah, we've got more Atlantean troops just popping on in. A whole train going. I think next turn he's going to attack Agartha, probably with this group, and then this group will rotate on. This group, I think, will probably go to the throne and protect that. And then this group can keep heading south. Not sure if he'll take the fight soon with this Agarthan army. But yeah, Atlantis very much has the upper hand, apparently in troop quality and in point buff coverage. Given that they have the built-in magic weapons, they're doing a pretty good job spreading their dominion. They're probably sad about losing this. Well, Agartha's sad about losing the Cradle of Faith. But yeah, they're definitely pushing dominion. Did they claim the Golden Throne? They did. So they're still trying to push their cold scales down here. We are in the middle of summer. So if we were going to see a resurgence from Agartha, now would be the time while the heat scales are strongest. But even then, it's not looking good. He does have the 1 main stack. I'm worried it's just going to have to move back and forth between Frosted Peaks and Agartha. If this train opts to just keep going south, well, I don't think he'll want to lose the Golden Throne again. He could do something like send this cave side and start working through this cave. But we'll have to see. And then we saw I guess it was a little bit of vulturing. Where was that? That was over here, 136. We saw that in the message last turn. And yeah, he's doing the event chain here. Battle to the death has ensued. Okay, pretty cool. So he's following through on it. A little bit curious what he's getting, but not quite curious enough to look up the event chain. Alright. Meanwhile, for our Tianqi, he's going through the event chain. He's taken the Throne of Death, which he may or may not want to claim. I think it depends how much he wants to lean into the Tianqi Mage Corps, maybe doing some Twiceborn stuff, or if he wants to keep his scales marginally okay, because he does have the Death and Misfortune, but he's also got really good magic, productivity, and some order. Throne of Dreams over here. Sloth and magic. I think this one's the better one. It looks like we've got some stuff here to maybe try and take it. It should be enough, but I'm not 100% sure that it's enough. It's 186 things. But most of those things are just light infantry. There's not a lot of crossbows, so maybe he'll be okay. If the cat shows up, I think he'll certainly be okay. Alright, and let's see. So let's roll on north. Marignon's cracked the Sitis fort. Sitis is using his unsieged cap to maybe get some more recruitment. We'll see if he tries to take this fight or if he just forgoes the fort. It is a lot of population, almost as much as his cap. We got more and more Marignon stuff showing up, but not. We still got 250, 110. So he's not sending the house, but he is sending enough to try and maintain an edge versus Sitis, but maybe not enough to win the war as quickly as he possibly could. Part of that might be all these Raven Guard and crossbows on his border. I don't know if Calum's planning on attacking Marignon next turn, but this border does look fairly aggressive. Maybe taking this was enough and he's pieced out man. I am a little interested. I do wonder if they've pieced out a bit. Because otherwise I feel like we would have seen more Raven Guard raids, so I do wonder if Calum's planning to attack Marignon. It does look like a very aggressive border. He could potentially fly in these Draconians and do some fighting in this region. This Calum player is very aggressive. I do wonder if they've signed a peace. Because maybe Calum was happy with just getting this bit. And then maybe he wants to... He could either try to knock Agartha off, or he could go after Marignon. I mean, there's a lot of Marinese troops here. We've got a number of corpses, a fair amount of unrest, so he's definitely blood hunting with those troops. We've got more corpses here. This is from the Devil's Den, just like its own weird form of blood hunting. You spend a turn to get a guaranteed thing. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if Calum attacks Marignon. Marignon's got a lot of stuff. He's got to be, I think, top 2 on the army graphs. Because Atlantis also has a lot of stuff. Alright. And then I think we talked a little bit about Tianqi. They're just kind of scaling, taking care of independence. They've got some tribes to deal with. Another throne to take. They'll probably want to try and fort this. So we'll see what Tianqi ends up doing. They have turned off a lot of their troop recruitment, so maybe they were trying to get some mages in and some infrastructure put up. A fort on this province has 28k pop. It's got a fort on this, 36k pop. You know, maybe do some site searching. Atala probably didn't have a lot of time to site search. So we'll see what he ends up doing. If anyone doesn't have to be in a hurry, it is Tianqi. But if anyone wanted to be in a hurry to impact another war, it would be Tianqi. Unless Calum did peace out man, this was a remarkable lack of activity this last turn. That makes me feel like they've pieced out. And I wonder if they've talked with Agartha about this. Or if maybe Calum is planning to go... I feel like this army would have moved back to here to knock off the Agartha stack. Maybe he's just going to wait for the Agartha stack to leave. Or maybe he's planning to go ahead and roll into Marignon now. Maybe they've come up with some sort of split of Marignon. That'd be a crazy way to heal the wounds of this war. Because you could do like a Calum man attack on Marignon before they finished Sitis. And then you could potentially gain a lot of ground there. Prevent Marignon from scaling. And yeah, I think that's it for this turn. And I do wonder about a piece between Caleb and Man, and maybe they've come to some sort of arrangement against Marignon. Maybe Man will use that arrangement to go loot stuff back from Agartha and Atlantis, where he's probably got a little bit better matchup. That battle versus Caleb was pretty gnarly. Maybe Caleb's not feeling like sieging down all these man forts, maybe risking his god against gifts from heaven. I could see a peace agreement being agreed to. I do think at some point Man's going to try and get that land back, but we'll see. All right, but yeah, I think that's it for this turn. I think we've got 1 to 3 free agents. We've got a very hot war between Agartha and Atlantis that Atlantis appears to be clearly winning. Unless Agartha pulls a big victory out from their main stack, I don't see that changing between these two armies. What is this, 267 troops? So unless something changes there, I think it's going to keep being favored to Atlantis. The troop quality is just too much. They're being careful in the hot scales. They can fight there, but they prefer not to, so I think they are relying a little bit on a Dom push and just kind of running past the few Agarthan stacks. They're okay taking out raiding groups, but maybe not wanting to take a big battle in Heat 2, stuff like that. And yeah, poor Pyrene getting jumped on by, at least from my point of view, a dying player. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll be interested to see where, I think a few of these players are thinking about Second Wars, and I'm curious to see where they end up pointing their armies at, and maybe what they end up doing with them. So I think that's it for this one, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Have a good one. Bye.